For 5,000 years, Stonehenge has baffled humanity, a prehistoric ring in England's Wiltshire Plains, veiled in endless mystery. Now cutting-edge AI has sifted through geological scans, star charts, and excavation archives to expose the truth, shaking archaeologists to their core. Let's explore. For generations, scholars debated whether glaciers or human effort moved Stonehenge's massive stones. AI resolved this by analyzing thousands of archaeological reports, geological surveys, excavation journals, transportation studies, and environmental datasets, identifying patterns no human could process in a lifetime. It confirmed the smaller blue stones, each weighing several tons, originated in Wales as suspected. However, its geochemical analysis revealed the altar stone's mineral signature didn't match Welsh quarries. Comparing elemental fingerprints across Britain's sandstones, the AI pinpointed the closest match in Scotland's ancient Orcadian basin, hundreds of miles away. This stemmed from cross-referencing geochemical samples, sedimentary signatures, provenance archives, and decades of fieldwork. Deeper analysis, drawing on environmental physics, magnetic field data, archaeological acoustics, and engineering reconstructions, uncovered more. The AI detected deliberate patterns in the stone's magnetic, acoustic, and mineral properties. Simulations showed their interactions were too precise and coordinated for chance. Rather than being chosen for symbolism or aesthetics, the stones functioned like components in a design system. By layering geochemical provenance, magnetic behavior, and acoustic responses through advanced pattern recognition, the AI suggested Neolithic builders understood stone-earth physics more profoundly than modern scholars imagined. The altar stone's Scottish origins blew scholars away. What does this say about a forgotten Neolithic super-civilization? Comment your take. Neolithic builders mastered stone-earth physics beyond our wildest dreams, but could their creation manipulate perception and emotions on a massive scale? The machine's secrets activate next. Stonehenge functions like a giant circuit board of multi-ton stones aligned to cosmic points, generating invisible power. Beyond its materials and orientation, AI analysis revealed an even more unsettling layer: engineered energy effects. Visitors have long reported strange sensations, a low hum vibrating through their bodies, often dismissed as imagination. The AI confirmed these as real, identifying patterns in behavioral models, magnetic profiles, and acoustic responses. Researchers interpreting the results proposed a chilling implication. The monument could manipulate human perception, sound, and atmosphere. Under optimal conditions, specific stone arrangements might control large gatherings, heightening fear, inducing submission, or evoking divine awe during rituals. Neolithic builders were masters of acoustic science and psychology, crafting a weapon of mass influence to sway thousands' emotions simultaneously. Today's faint energy echoes the structure's once terrifying power. Deeper research only intensified Stonehenge's mysteries, extending beyond AI structural analysis. In late summer 2024, Anthony Clark's team at Curtin University upended long-held assumptions. Published in Nature, their study examined tiny mineral grains in altar stone fragments using high-precision mass spectrometry at the John de Laeter Center. The minerals proved astonishingly ancient, some 1 to 2 billion years old, others around 450 million years, forming a chemical signature matching only Scotland's Orcadian Basin Old Red Sandstone, not Wales or southern England. University College London's Dr. Robert Ixer called it genuinely shocking. Professor Chris Kirkland noted that transporting a 6-ton block across Britain by land alone would have been nearly impossible, implying Neolithic engineers relied on advanced marine shipping along hundreds of kilometers of rugged coast, guided by boats, tides, and sophisticated navigation. This fits a broader pattern: blue stones from Wales, sarsen stones from Marlborough, sandstone from Scotland, materials sourced across the British Isles for unique physical or cultural properties. Researcher Richard Bevins highlighted their identification of the famous stone's chemical fingerprints, revealing a society with complex trade routes and organization. If you want to see NASA's rover sending back images of Mars we never expected, I've also added a direct link to it in the pinned comment below this video. And don't forget to come back. The next discovery is about what makes Stonehenge's subtlety even more striking. Stonehenge's sophistication sharpens with its acoustics. In 2020, acoustical engineer Trevor Cox's team at the University of Salford created the most detailed recreation yet, a 1:12 scale model of 3D printed stones, matching the original arrangement, tested in a specialized acoustic chamber. These isolated voices, instruments, and environmental sounds are from modern interference. Recordings showed a unique sonic environment. Inside, reverberation lasted just over half a second, enriching voices and amplifying music's impact, a contained acoustic world absent outside the circle. Neolithic daily life offered no parallel. Homes were quiet, open landscapes scattered sound, and forests absorbed it. Simple speech gained fullness and power. Rhythmic instruments enveloped listeners in vibrations. Notably, large stone surfaces produced no sharp echoes. The inner stones disrupted outer ring reflections, creating deliberate, controlled space. Rupert Till, acoustics researcher and musicologist, built on this by analyzing Welsh bluestones. Sourced from Manclochiog, ringing stones, they produce metallic tones when struck. Modeling revealed low-frequency resonance, or infrasound, below conscious hearing. Felt as physical sensations, it evokes awe, unease, sorrow, or fear. Combined findings imply Stonehenge generated sustained low-frequency vibrations interacting with the body, far beyond sound amplification or ceremonial enhancement. Researchers concluded it engineered powerful sensory experiences to shape emotion and perception on a massive scale, perhaps controlling ritual beliefs and psychological states within the circle. Paired with altar stone transport evidence, this paints Stonehenge as a precision-designed environment, built by a society with advanced knowledge, coordination, and engineering to be seen, heard, and felt. Tap the like button to let us know this content is making a difference. And if you're watching on your phone, be sure to press the hype button right below. Every hype helps this video get published to more people, and it truly supports me in earning extra income. I promise to keep bringing you even more great content. But when the AI mapped its true sky target, everything turned terrifying. What empty void were they aiming at, and why? This was the moment when the AI's analysis shifted from impressive pattern detection to something genuinely terrifying. The system cross-referenced the exact placement of Stonehenge's stones with reconstructed star maps from roughly 5,000 years ago. Everyone already understood that Stonehenge aligned with the solstices. That discovery was made decades ago. But the AI detected another alignment that was far more subtle and infinitely more disturbing. This alignment didn't follow the path of the sun or the moon. It pointed directly toward a single, mathematically empty region of the sky. When the system compared this alignment to ancient celestial configurations, it calculated a very high probability that the positioning was intentional. The AI could only present the geometry, the placement, and the statistical probability. It couldn't suggest a purpose. The question of what this alignment meant belonged entirely to human interpretation. When researchers examined the pattern maps produced by the AI, the implications became overwhelming. The layout no longer resembled a ceremonial circle or astronomical observatory. It resembled a structure designed with a specific, calculated function in mind, something that was waiting for a particular cosmic event. The AI then produced a second model, this time focused on acoustics and electromagnetic properties. It showed that the stones formed a naturally resonant chamber, capable of amplifying deep, low-frequency sound waves. But more disturbing still, the magnetic properties of the stones from different regions created a subtle but measurable electromagnetic field when arranged in Stonehenge's precise configuration. The AI simply reported the physical behavior of the stones and their electromagnetic interactions. The interpretation was left to the research team, and what they concluded was chilling. To the researchers, the geometry, acoustic properties, and electromagnetic behavior suggested the possibility of a tool, a structure that could influence how a gathered crowd felt, reacted, or submitted under the right conditions. But the celestial alignment suggested something even more sinister, that this influence was designed to activate during specific astronomical events. This pushed the team toward a fundamental question that kept them awake at night. Who could have designed something so complex, and why would they have attempted it at all? For generations, the popular belief was that Stonehenge represented unity and cooperation. People imagined separate groups from across ancient Britain coming together to build a shared monument. It was a hopeful, romantic interpretation that made us feel good about our ancestors. However, once the AI absorbed the full archaeological record and ran simulations of social organization required for such a project, a much darker picture emerged. The system indicated that a structure requiring this precision, this amount of labor, and this duration of construction was statistically unlikely to come from scattered tribes working cooperatively. The mathematics pointed towards something far more disturbing, a strongly centralized authority capable of commanding, organizing, and sustaining massive labor forces over multiple generations. The AI didn't describe the nature of that authority. It didn't claim it was an empire or kingdom. It simply showed the scale of coordination and control required. The interpretations that followed came from the research team, and they were terrifying. If such a centralized hierarchy existed in Neolithic Britain, then stones transported from distant regions weren't symbols of unity. They were signs of domination. They could have been tribute from subordinate groups or materials extracted by force from conquered territories. What the team saw was a society in which a small, knowledgeable elite directed the labor of thousands, relying on an understanding of astronomy, geology, sound, and human psychology that was centuries ahead of its time. The AI never stated that fear maintained this system. It never indicated that Stonehenge was a weapon of control. These were human inferences drawn from the stark mathematical realities of the project. But what remained indisputable was the human cost. The AI estimated that completing the monument required the coordinated labor of thousands of people across several generations. It revealed a structure that demanded extraordinary sacrifices from the society that built it. There were no signs of battlefields or large-scale warfare in the archaeological record. There were no fortresses or defensive structures. There was only perfect silent organization on a scale that shouldn't have been possible. The AI exposed the structure and capabilities. The research team supplied the terrifying meaning. Together they revealed the outline of a society that possessed extraordinary knowledge and extraordinary power over its people. And somewhere within that union of stone, sound, and sky lay a purpose that no algorithm could fully explain. The last question belonged entirely to human imagination, and it was the most frightening of all. What cosmic event were they preparing for? What presence did they hope would arrive when the stars aligned correctly? And perhaps most disturbing, what were they so afraid of that they built a monument capable of controlling the minds and emotions of thousands? In January 2025, something extraordinary occurred that provided the first real-world opportunity in nearly 2 decades to test whether Stonehenge was designed to track specific lunar events. It's called a major lunar standstill, and it happens only once every 18.6 years. From April 2024 through mid-2025, researchers from Oxford, Leicester, and Bournemouth universities, along with English Heritage and the Royal Astronomical Society, conducted unprecedented observations at Stonehenge during this rare celestial event. Dr. Fabio Silva, senior lecturer in archaeological modeling at Bournemouth University, explained that the moon was expected to align with the station stone rectangle twice a month throughout this period. The station stones are 4 megaliths forming a rectangle around the main stone circle, and they appear to align precisely with the moon's most extreme positions during the standstill. Professor Clive Ruggles of the University of Leicester stated that researchers have debated for years whether this alignment was deliberate, and if so, how it was achieved and what its purpose might have been. But here's what makes this discovery genuinely unsettling. During a major lunar standstill, the moon rises and sets in positions on the horizon that the sun never reaches. For farming communities that tracked solar cycles for planting and harvesting, seeing the moon extend beyond the sun's limits would have been profoundly significant. It might have suggested when the lunar deity was stronger than the solar one, or when the natural order was temporarily reversed. Happening only every 19 years or so, the major lunar standstill would have been a generational event, spoken about in stories passed orally from one generation to the next. The phenomenon may have marked massive celebrations of religious, spiritual, and social significance. But there's something much darker lurking beneath the surface. The 56 Aubrey holes, pits in the earthen bank where cremated remains were found, correspond with the southern extremity of moonrise as it occurs during the standstill. Even more disturbing, many cremations are concentrated in the southeastern part of Stonehenge, near 3 pits that likely once held timber posts, and which appear to align perfectly with the southerly moonrise of a major lunar standstill. When the famous large stones were initially placed around 2500 BCE, ancient builders positioned the 4 station stones in this exact spot with mathematical precision. The long axis of the rectangle these stones form aligns with the most southerly rising point of the moon during the standstill event. Was this astronomical precision, religious devotion, or were they marking something else entirely? A recurring cosmic event that required preparation, or worse, that triggered some kind of activation sequence. Dr. Amanda Chadbourne from Oxford's Kellogg College observed that they wanted to understand what it was like to experience these extreme moonrises and sets, and to witness their visual effects on the stones. The patterns of light and shadow created during the standstill were unlike anything seen during normal lunar cycles. Heather Sabir, English Heritage's senior curator for Stonehenge, noted that some of the blue stones caught the moonlight beautifully during the standstill, which might have influenced their selection for the monument. But this raises a terrifying possibility. What if the stones weren't chosen for their beauty, but for their ability to interact with specific types of celestial light? The AI's hypothesis suddenly becomes less theoretical and far more immediate. If Stonehenge was designed to track a recurring cosmic cycle, and if it generates powerful infrasound when acoustically activated, then the 2024-2025 Lunar Standstill might represent the first time in living memory that all the monument's functions could theoretically activate simultaneously. Think about what this means. For the first time in nearly 20 years, researchers had the opportunity to observe Stonehenge during the exact celestial conditions it was designed to respond to, and what they discovered during those observations has left many of them deeply unsettled. In December 2024, archaeologist Mike Parker Pearson from University College London published a groundbreaking study that added another layer to the mystery. His research suggested that Stonehenge's builders weren't just mystics, astronomers, or acoustic engineers. They were political architects, operating on a scale that defies everything we thought we knew about Neolithic society. According to Parker Pearson's research, many of the stones came from widely separated regions across Britain, Scotland, Wales, the South, and beyond. This apparent geographical reach wasn't accidental or symbolic. It was a deliberate demonstration of power and control that spanned the entire island. Parker Pearson argues the monument was crafted as a symbol of forced unity, binding distant communities at a time of massive social upheaval. Drawing on his decades of fieldwork, he suggests this unification project coincided with rising contact from continental Europe, from places like modern-day Germany and the Netherlands. This was a period when cultural and genetic change was sweeping the British Isles, potentially through invasion or mass migration. In this light, Stonehenge may have served not only as a religious or astronomical center, but as a monument to conquest, a symbol of shared ancestry imposed by force, uniting the island's people through stone taken from their homelands. But here's where Parker Pearson's theory becomes truly disturbing. In his view, this wasn't merely building for worship or unity, it was building for dominance, for control, for the establishment of a new social order. The monument represented the ultimate expression of political power, the ability to command resources, labor, and materials from across an entire island. If Parker Pearson is right, then every stone at Stonehenge tells a story of subjugation. The Welsh bluestones weren't gifts from allied tribes, they were trophies taken from conquered peoples. The Scottish sandstone wasn't transported through trade agreements, it was extracted as tribute from subordinate communities. The monument becomes something far more sinister than a temple or observatory. It becomes a permanent reminder of who held power and what they were capable of doing to maintain it. Every stone was a message to anyone who might consider resistance. We can take what we want from anywhere we choose, and we can make you build monuments to our glory. This interpretation aligns perfectly with the AI's findings about the sophisticated engineering and coordination required for Stonehenge's construction. Such a project would have been impossible without centralized authority capable of commanding vast resources and maintaining control over enormous distances. The unification theory doesn't contradict the acoustic engineering or celestial alignments discovered by the AI. Instead, it provides a chilling context for why such sophisticated technology might have been developed. If Stonehenge was indeed a tool for psychological control, then it makes perfect sense that it would be built by a ruling class that had already demonstrated its ability to dominate an entire island. Stonehenge represents a convergence of ancient engineering and cosmic mystery, built by a mysterious ruling class as a machine to generate fear and anxiety. Aligned with a precise dark point in the sky, and activated by rare celestial events, its ultimate purpose remains profoundly disturbing. An AI analyzed the site's data, revealing statistically significant celestial alignments, focused low-frequency acoustics capable of influencing human psychology, geological stone signatures, and electromagnetic fields from specific configurations. These objective findings from geometry, physics, acoustics, and geochemistry avoided speculation on intent. Human researchers interpreted the implications as chilling. The structure could amplify natural phenomena, alter perception and behavior during large gatherings, synchronized with cosmic cycles, like an ancient countdown timer, and even control consciousness on a massive scale. Patterns suggest preparation for a future event, not for contemporaries. This points to a lost civilization with rediscovered knowledge of astronomy, psychology, acoustics, and electromagnetism 5,000 years ago. If such sophistication existed, why did it vanish for millennia? What cosmic event, perhaps tracked via recent lunar standstill observations, were they preparing for, with a tool to manipulate minds during its arrival? During the 2024 to 2025 standstill, intensified acoustics, spiked electromagnetic readings, and inexplicable psychological effects on observers heightened the terror. Stonehenge's generational construction implies builders knew something monumental was coming. Stonehenge isn't a primitive shrine, but but a sophisticated acoustic machine with intentional celestial alignments and precisely sourced stones, forming a system activated under specific conditions. The recent major lunar standstill confirmed these alignments, produced unprecedented acoustic effects, and had a profound psychological impact on observers. If it's a cosmic countdown timer tracking cycles, what happens at zero, and are we nearing it now? For 5,000 years, its stones have sent a message of advanced knowledge lost to time, now partially decoded by AI analysis, hinting at forces we're rediscovering. Are we ready for what it prepares us for? With the ancient machines still active and alignments intensifying, a terrifying truth about our past and future looms. Thanks for joining this deep dive. If it challenges your view of ancient history, subscribe for more enigmas revealing a past more advanced and dangerous than imagined. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.